Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It's your purchase and pricing email question line to purchase this or any watch you see here on Watchbox Reviews or our website. Email me for purchase and pricing, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing the 2018 model year Jaeger-LeCoultre Polaris Chronograph, 42 millimeters in rose gold with a spectacular ruthenium dial in multiple finishes. This is a watch that captures the spirit of the 1968 Polaris diving alarm in a highly water-resistant all-around sports chrono in ravishing red gold. 42 millimeters in diameter, the watch is reasonably slim at only 12.1 millimeters thick. That's thinner than a Daytona, which is 12.2. You can see from lug to lug 48.5 millimeters with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Throw it on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. It's comfortable, it's compact, it's flat and flush, and you can see the lugs are short-cropped, and not just short-cropped, but tightly downturned, meaning the watch wears smaller than a 42. It feels more like a 40 or a 41, so I can recommend it for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. You'll also note in profile, it easily slides underneath a dress cuff, so no concerns there. Let's get a little bit closer. You can see the watch features hardware and software. Large rectangular scale alligator leather in brown with a monotone stitch and a folded edge. On the underside, note the use of pull tab spring bars so you can easily remove the strap from the case without tools. Calfskin on the underside of this Jaeger-LeCoultre factory strap in outstanding condition, and then you have a double folding deployant clasp in rose gold with a special feature. This is a push button trigger that will release the clasp from the strap, so you can remove the clasp from the strap and remove the strap from the case, and you can do all of that by pushing buttons and pulling tabs. No tools required. The clasp giving you extra protection against droppage while donning or removing at bedside. The case lines are evocative of the Polaris, a model made from 65 to 1970. There were a few 1963 prototypes, but mostly from 65 to 70. It was a diving alarm. This is a chronograph, but you could see that the lug profile, the satin case band, and some of the diminishing bevel of the original lugs, present, correct, and handsome here. There's a little bit of a downward turned facing to the lugs, and they're polished on their underside. Everything is well made, thoughtfully detailed, with the polish used to accent rather than dominate. It's tasteful execution, rectangular pushers, and a knurled crown. You can see that it's actually satin in between the hollows with the raised portions polished. Nice attention to detail again. And the bezel itself is nothing but a rose gold halo, as it really disappears when you're looking at the watch from head on. This is a lovely ruthenium coat, very dark and intense, several different finishes, a satin tachymeter Reha outboard, and then there's a lovely chiseled or frosted finish to the hour track, which features applique rose gold Arabic numerals and indices. And again, the style used is reminiscent of the Polaris 68 rather than 65 dial design. You have sunken registers for chronograph hours and minutes. Note, when I stop the chronograph, there is no constant seconds on this dial, and a lovely sunburst pattern on the center dial. It's handsomely, thoughtfully, and I must say elaborately executed. Now, because it is a vertical clutch chronograph, you can leave that seconds hand running full time. Just leave the chronograph on if you prefer. You can just have your hours, minutes, and seconds at center and ignore the chronograph registers. Although it is not intended to be used this way, you can pull the crown out, stop the seconds, and if you want to set that as your seconds hand, you can set it precisely to a reference time. Of course, you can also use the flyback and start system of the chronograph. Not to mistake it for a flyback chronograph, it just has a standard reset. Turn it all over, and for the first time, JLC allows you to see its caliber 750 series in-house automatic chronograph caliber. This debuted back in the first half of the 2000s on the Master Compressor chronograph, and it was JLC's first ever automatic chronograph caliber. It's been visible on the display casebacks of Cartier's previously, but the Cartier watches that displayed it used it in a lower specification and a lower level of finish. This is the first time you get to see the genuine article. 65-hour power reserve, twin mainspring barrels, enabling not just the 65-hour reserve, but also a very even torque release from maximum wind to minimum wind. That's a problem that a single barrel movement typically has. Uneven torque release throughout its power reserve, less of a problem with two barrels. Now, I mentioned the vertical clutch, but you can also see there is a column wheel. So you have the crispness of the column wheel and the seamless start-stop action of the vertical clutch with the ability to run the chronograph full time that comes with a vertical clutch. All of this is 100 meters water resistant. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. It does feature the stop seconds, and if you look closely, you can see there's also a free-sprung balance architecture that makes it more shock tolerant and tougher. It's an elaborate 37 joule manufacturer movement, nicely made, technically scientifically proficient, and it even features a handsome flourish in the form of true kiln-fired blue oxidized screws. A good-looking watch front and back. It has a refinement you will not find on the standard model chrono. The standard chrono features a tungsten rotor. The rose gold model features the matching rose gold rotor that you see right here. A good-looking watch, and again, this is the upscale model in the collection. It has been through the master 1,000 hours control process, originated in the early 90s. It was one of the first in-house chronometric control systems that surpassed the requirements of the COSC. Remember, the COSC is a 2-week test. The 1,000 hours control is weeks and weeks. It's a test of chronometry, winding efficiency, power reserve, water resistance, and durability. This watch clears all of those hurdles. A timepiece that puts it all together in a handsome, compact, and historically evocative package. This is the Jaeger-LeCoultre Polaris Chronograph in rose gold. And I am back with the Jaeger-LeCoultre Polaris Chronograph. I should also mention it features ceramic rotor bearings and unidirectional winding action for efficiency, durability, and minimal maintenance.